Welcome into Pittsburgh Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today is my final Pittsburgh Steelers roster projection before cut down day on Tuesday. I'm going to be releasing this kind of later on Monday evening here, so if you're watching this on Tuesday, this is, hopefully this isn't completely out of date. But on Tuesday, it is the official 53-man roster release for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to be putting out a full video breaking down every single player that made this team this year. Another thing that could potentially happen, guys, is the Steelers might be getting busy with a wide receiver trade. I broke down a couple of the possibilities on an earlier video on Steelers Talk today, so I'll put the link to that one in the comments and description of today's show. I'll also put a chip on here so you can click that if you want to see what the latest is on guys like Brandon Aiyuk, Tim Patrick, and John Mechie. So we did get a tweet here from Zachary Smith saying, I feel like it's obvious to assume, but it still felt like it was worth putting out there. Steelers have reached out to both the Texans and Broncos to check in on John Mechie III and Tim Patrick, and we know as well that the Steelers have obviously been in contact with the 49ers about a potential Brandon Aiyuk trade, so keep your eye on that. But a little bit of a disclaimer here before I get into my roster projection today. I am acknowledging up front that this is probably not going to be 100% correct, all right? I'm not in the Steelers building. I'm not in the head of Mike Tomlin or in the head of Omar Khan, all right? There's probably going to be a couple of little differences here, so I don't want to see anyone blasting this video after the fact when the official roster comes out, all right? This is my best guess as to what they're going to decide to do with this football team this year, and that's all I can do, folks. So let's start off here with the quarterbacks. I think they only carry two on the active roster, so I think Russell Wilson and Justin Fields will start the year as the only two guys on the active roster. Now, they could certainly put Kyle Allen on the active roster if they want, but honestly, I don't think Allen's the type of guy that's going to get poached by any of these NFL teams, and I think that he's going to be the emergency quarterback. If you remember, there's a rule in the National Football League where you can have a guy on the practice squad, a quarterback, that can be your emergency quarterback option in case both of your other quarterbacks that are on the roster get hurt during that particular game. So I think that quarterback this year will be Kyle Allen, not John Rice Plumlee. And if Allen ends up getting poached, I think the Steelers will end up doing a little bit of poaching themselves to get their emergency quarterback. Then we get to the running backs here. We got Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, and Cordero Patterson. Certainly possible that somebody like a Jonathan Ward could sneak in here as well, but I do think, especially because with how much the Steelers plan on running the football, not to mention Jaylen Warren dealing with a little bit of an injury. So I will say right now, I wouldn't shock me if they carry four running backs to start the season, whether that's LaMichael Pirine, whether that's Jonathan Ward. We already know they cut Daijun Edwards earlier today, so it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do at this position. At tight end, I do think they carry four. I mean, this is a team in Arthur Smith in this offense that's going to play a lot of 12, 13 personnel. So that means two tight ends, three tight ends, all right? So you're going to need at least four on the team. So I think Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward, who will double as a fullback as well, and then Michael Pruitt, who is Arthur Smith's guy, all make the roster this year. Then we get to the wide receivers, and before I get into this, you guys are going to think it's a little weird, but I do think the Steelers end up getting Brandon Aiyuk. So if I'm going to project this final roster here, I'm going to put him in this discussion. I actually think the Steelers carry 7 receivers here. That might be a little bit of an overkill. Maybe Des Fitzpatrick or Scotty Miller gets a little bit of the boot here. But if they trade for Brandon Aiyuk, I could certainly see them going to 6 instead of 7. But I think Des Fitzpatrick and Scotty Miller have both earned a roster spot this year. Still got George Pickens, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, and Roman Wilson. So if you're able to land Brandon Aiyuk, I think this is a legit NFL wide receiver room, and I think Russell Wilson in this Steelers offense is really going to do a good job exploiting the talent that they have in this wideout room. So let me know down there in the comments section, how many wide receivers do you think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will carry? I certainly think 6 is a reasonable number. I have 7 right now. I guess we'll see what happens. So let me know down there in the comments section. Offensive line, I have them carrying 9 players here. So Dan Moore Jr., I believe, will be the starting left tackle. Isaac Seumalo, the starting left guard. Zach Frazier, the starting center. James Daniels, the starting right guard, and I think Broderick Jones is more likely to start at right tackle because I just don't know if Fautano is going to be ready to go week 1. But obviously I think they both make the roster. Mason McCormick will be the first guy on the interior off the bench. Spencer Anderson can play either tackle or guard, so after the injury to Dylan Cook, I think Spencer Anderson is a lock to make this team. And then Ryan McCollum was one of the last players I put on this roster to back up Zach Frazier at center. So also let me know how many offensive linemen you think the Pittsburgh Steelers will carry this year. Now coming up here on Steelers Talk, the defensive roster projection. Some interesting things coming up here on Steelers Talk, so don't go anywhere. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. So if you love to say, I was there for all of your favorite teams' biggest moments this year, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. So here's how you use Game Time Picks. It's super easy. You go into the Game Time app, you pick a game. So let's pick Chargers versus Steelers, home opener at Acrisure Stadium this year. You click the Game Time Picks tab, and it automatically sifts through all of the tickets that they have available on their app. They look at the price, they look at what that ticket is usually costing people in that particular section, and then they show you how much savings that you are getting, and they rank them based on the best deals to the worst deals. So if you want only one spot to go shopping for your tickets, Game Time is the perfect app for you. You don't have to go shopping around in a bunch of different ticketing apps because they have the lowest price guarantee. They also have all-in pricing, so they don't slap you with crazy fees at checkout, which is very convenient. And then also you get flash deals right before the event, so that if you're somebody like me and you like to procrastinate to get your tickets, Game Time actually rewards you for that by driving down ticket prices the closer you get to the event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps. It's right down there in the bottom of your screen. CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. I have the Steelers going with, this is 7 defensive tackles here, interior players. Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, and Larry Ogunjobi will be your starters. And then I think that they do carry 4 reserve players. I think that DeMarvin Leal, Montravius Adams, Isaiah Loudermilk, and Dean Lowry all bring a certain flavor that they want to bring to this rotation. Plus, it helps on special teams and, field goal coverage and all this different stuff, not to mention goal line. So I do think they will carry 9 this year. It might be 8 or 7. It might be 6, I should say. But let me know how many defensive tackles you think the Steelers will carry this year. In terms of outside linebackers, I think they carry 4. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig are expected to be among the most productive edge rusher trios in football this year. And I do think Kyron Johnson will be the number 4 guy that makes the team. Inside linebacker room, I have them carrying 5. Patrick Queen, Landon Roberts, Peyton Wilson, Tyler Medikevich is a special team specialist, and then Mark Robinson will be a reserve. Cole Holcomb, I have this team putting on the beginning of the season IR, so that he's going to be out for a little bit here. He hasn't practiced all training camp, but if he can come back this year, that still leaves the door open. So before we get into the secondary here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, click that thumbs up icon if you're ready for week 1, because they're going to be playing right here at the Mercedes-Benz Dome or Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Arthur Smith going up against his former team. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kirk Cousins versus Russell Wilson. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. So if you want to join us for that watch party and you're enjoying today's show, make sure you click that thumbs up icon. Cornerbacks, I have them carrying 5. Joey Porter Jr., Diontae Jackson. Corey Trice Jr., I think, will be the number 3 outside guy and the starting dime backer. And then I think they carry Thomas Graham Jr. and Beanie Bishop Jr. as well. I don't think they want to lose either one of those guys. And then safety, I have them carrying 4. Minkah Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Elliott, DeMonte KZ, and Miles Killebrew. Obviously, Killebrew is going to be probably a special teams captain this year like he has over the last several years. And speaking of special teams, we got Chris Boswell back as the kicker, Cameron Johnson as the punter, and then Christian Kuntz as the long snapper. So that's 53 players for you guys, but we're not done just yet. I have the 2 spots on the non-season ending IR here, going to Cole Holcomb and then also Dylan Cook, who it was announced, I believe it was just yesterday, that he has a foot injury and will miss multiple weeks. Makes sense to put put both of these guys on non-season ending IR. When it comes to the practice squad priorities here, I got 7 guys that I for sure want to put on there. Kyle Allen as your emergency quarterback. Jonathan Ward, I think, had a really good camp this year. Logan Lee, somebody that you drafted this year. I think that he's somebody that they see a future with, but maybe not right away because they do have a lot of really good depth on this defensive line. Julius Welshoff got hurt in that final preseason game, but he had a really good overall training camp and preseason this year. I think they practice squad him. Same thing with Jacoby Widman. Darius Rush might make the roster. He's right on the bubble, in my opinion, so we'll see if he ends up making the team. If not, I definitely want him on the practice squad. Same thing with Ryan Watts, dealing with a little bit of an injury right now. Not sure if he showed enough during preseason to be rostered this year. Let me know if there's anybody else down there that you guys think should be practice squatted or you think should make the team that I didn't mention today. And if you disagree with any of my roster projection today, like I said, I'm probably going to get some of this wrong when this comes out tomorrow, guys. So please, no crazy comments after the fact here calling me an idiot or whatever the case may be. It is very difficult to get this 53-man roster projection 100% correct, but I gave it my best shot today. If you have any disagreements, let me know down there in the comments section. It's all good. I love disagreeing with people, man. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I appreciate all of your guys' support. I appreciate your perspectives down there in the comments section. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this roster projection today. And until tomorrow, guys, here we go, Steelers.